to the party. So we were able to do that much until we had some issues in the party because some persons did not understand what time, where, and part of what we did then, which is what we are doing now. Yeah, I'm talking about Abure. Needless to go over those matters. But what he did affected the desires of the youth of this country. So he truncated their aspirations. Irrespective of who was going to be the beneficiary of that struggle, Peter Obi as it were. But it wasn't about Peter Obi really. It was about the sustenance, the viability of this nation, the viability of the youth of this country and their productivity. So we had put in place enough a strategy actually to have realized that in the 2023 general elections. So part of the challenge was that the mobilization structure we put in place, which is again what we are putting in place right now, is such that for now the NYA, we are going to be mobilizing a minimum of 25 million Nigerian youth. Now to position them for this engagement. Not just political engagement, but economic engagement, because we have seen the state of things in the country today. You and I know that things are extremely terrible economically. The subsidy was removed only recently, and the burden of the hardship came down on the people enormously, to the point where prices have risen to more than 3 times of where they were. The pump price of the fuel, the house rent, the food, the salary. Salaries are not comparable, like you are aware. We are talking of minimum wage that should not be less than 250,000 naira, so that it can be a living wage in the circumstance. And the government is saying they cannot afford more than 60 or 62,000. That's unacceptable. So what that means is we need a crop of Nigerians who will truly sit down, look at these issues dispassionately and profile solutions. So the NYA that I represent today as the spokesperson is to begin to bring to the fore those solutions. And what are the solutions? First, economic solution. By economic solution, I said, I'm not just a politician. I'm a trade engineer, a metallurgical and materials engineer. I work with the research institute sector in this country under the federal government, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, as a registered engineer. 2, I keep saying I am the National Organizing Secretary of the Academic Staff Union of Research Institutions in Nigeria in the last 13 years. Over this time, we looked at the plight of this economy. We had projected that in the years ahead, a liter of fuel will sell for about 800 naira. There is a modulation table we did in 2011 that showed us over time how the pump price of fuel will go to about 850 naira to 1,000 naira, and the adverse effect of that projection on the national economy. So for me, I am not taken aback. So what we did was to have launched, so we launched out to seek a financial solution to rejig this economy ahead. And I'll tell you authoritatively, I've said this severally, we secured 150 billion euro funding to fund the research sector and the workers project and to plow part of this money into the national economy. So this is what we must do. But from part of that money, like I said, 14.2 million euro came via SWIFT 103-202, manual download to Zenith Bank. Those funds are trapped for 3 years. We are in court, both with Zenith Bank, with the EFCC, over this matter. So the point I'm making with that is, we are not going to relent. It's not about Eragbe Anslem. I've had to be in custody with the EFCC and Kuje for 36 days on this matter. So I'm telling the world to say, there are owners, there are faces to what we are doing globally. We are not local champions, contrary to what anybody thinks. So we wrote to President Tinubu immediately he came, and he made the broadcast for subsidy removal, seeking 500 billion naira subsidy intervention funding to say, Mr. President, we had secured the solution to rejig this economy, particularly now they're here. So what you need to do, we took that broadcast, did a financial analysis, cost benefit, and we proved to the president we could engage a minimum of 15 million people in Nigeria annually from 2024 to 2031. And by that disclosure, the financial projection showed us we would spend an average from the government perspective, because they were seeking 500 billion naira for the subsidy intervention funding, and they mentioned the aspect in which those funds were going to be deployed. So we took that statement, did the financial analysis and projections, and showed realistically how this 500 billion naira could be put into economic use, because it was a facility they sought at 9% interest rate, which we offered them to say this is doable, we're in a position. So from that analysis, it revealed to us that 15 million Nigerians nationwide could be engaged under this administration, so that we can